Hi.
It's Corinne and Alex.
Yep. You haven't seen me in a while.
Yeah, we've been like really busy doing stuff.
Yeah.
This is like a vlog, cause my people tell me that I need to do more of these.
You've got people?
Sort of, yeah. Not that I don't mind doing these. It's just it's weird.
We're not.
The format is kind of weird to me. Also, I don't have the best equipment, but we'll try to make this entertaining.
Yeah.
So, quick update before we start rambling about stuff. For those that don't know or follow us on Twitter, we're moving to Dallas, hopefully around November, December.
Mm-hmm.
And we're very excited. We're going to hopefully be close enough to hang out with the rest of Team 4-Star and other friends. And I'm going to be doing a lot of freelance work, voice acting, editing, working on some show concepts.
Yeah, we've got a friend down there who we're going to roommate with, who we're figuring out apartments in the next month or so, and then moving by the end of the year.
Yes, and we'll update you more as we get closer. So, yay, exciting! People want to know what we've been watching lately, and
we decided to do one of the most recent things, which is I'm not closeted, but I'm unapologetic about it. But I only watch so much of it. But I'm a wrestling fan.
Yeah.
And I got into. I heard really good things about the Mae Young Classic, and it turns out it's great.
It's amazing, actually. And we haven't looked up who the winner is because technically
I know it's available, and I know one of the people we love is one of the finalists.
Yeah, so we only know up to we only watch 16 matches.
Yeah, 16 matches cut the competition in half.
Honestly, it was something that really gravitated to me, especially after we watched Glow like several months back.
And I think it helps that you have complained when I've made you watch WWE pay-per-views is that the fights are so long.
Yeah, so
and
one of the differences I noticed is 15-minute time limit, and I didn't realize that it's usually a 30-minute time limit for
usually on a pay-per-view.
Right, on a pay-per-view, and that's really freaking long.
Well, the average episode the runtime of an episode of Raw is 4 hours now, and that's the same as a pay-per-view.
But there's nothing happening.
I know.
People are gonna hate me. They're gonna be like, "She doesn't know what she's talking about."
No, I've had that argument with fans too, and they're like, "You're a little right."
But what I liked about the Mae Young compared to other stuff that he showed me is just like everybody felt relatable. The performances were done. I thought the athletes were actually athletic.
And I'm
not saying that I'm saying wrestling is hard. I understand. Like everyone's athletic, but just like just felt like it was more creative and there was more happening and like.
Well, and one of the things that it
didn't feel sad.
Well, it's because these are all even the veterans who are in the Mae Young Classic are still around 30, 33.
Right.
So they're not completely broken.
Yeah.
And like Hulk Hogan, who was dragged out at 60 and was like he has no knees.
Yeah. And like you could sort of tell like even if there's no story, you can go like, okay, she's kind of a little rough around the edges, and she's like, whatever.
Right.
And that's all you really need to know. When Alex shows me stuff, I'm just kind of like, here's this douchebag versus this douchebag. Like, I don't really care who wins. Like,
right, because you run into like. First of all, you're in the middle of a storyline, so you're not sure why they hate.
Storyline.
Well, there are storylines.
Mm-hmm.
They just I basically just go, this guy hates this guy, and you're like, why? And I'm like, I came in the middle too. I don't know. Or Randy Orton versus the Cult guy was ridiculous
because we saw when he showed me that, I was just, this is the most bizarre waste of money I've ever seen.
He burned down his house.
They went to the middle of nowhere. In this weird house, which wasn't even that creepy.
Yeah.
Throws a fridge on the guy, and then they drove back. I'm thinking like a different twist. What was even the twist at the end of that?
It was obvious. He was driving.
He was the driver, right? But like they did it so long that it wasn't even who cared.
Yeah, or he was hiding away in
That's
the
always great when you watch a match. You're like, who cares?
Like even the less impressive ones were like that was a good match.
There was one girl who was Whip Girl. Who was the girl with the whip hair?
Belair.
Yeah, Bianca Belair. Blanca Blair.
Blanca Blair.
But I was just throughout the match. I'm like, she better use her hair.
Yeah, she has a big long braided ponytail, and she used it as a whip. And Corinne was like, "Yes, finally, thank you."
Yeah, she does. I mean, granted, it was used
walking
at the right second because I was just like, she better use this. She better use this better. Not only did she used it as a good fake out, and then didn't she spear right into the girl?
Yeah, she like whipped him in the chest, and she went what? And then she like
it was
bam!
like such an amazing combo.
Person.
I kind of liked Rachel Evers because she just had like a spunk about her.
Well, and
that I
one
liked.
of the things that I commented on a couple times is that they, at least these women, maybe it's the veterans amongst these women who have like really expressive faces.
Yeah.
So like they sell really well.
Yeah, she just looked like a lot of fun, and just like her costume was really cool, and like, yeah, she was really cool. I have a couple of favorites on here. I like Toni Storm.
She liked both the Aussies.
Yeah.
Toni and Ray.
Toni, she had the cute little clip hat, and she was kind of like a little small thing. I was rooting for a lot of the short girls because it's just like, I was just like, oh, they're gonna totally get crushed, but like, they proved that like endurance.
We
and speed
marveled at how
like...
short the Princess Suhit was.
Oh yeah,
she's the Mexican luchador.
You should have looked up how short
she was 5'1".
She was 5'1". Yeah. Rhea Ripley was also my favorite, or the kangaroo. I call her the kangaroo because
well, she's Australian.
She's Australian, but don't get me wrong. But like her biggest thing is her kicks, and like, oh my god.
Yeah.
This girl's got legs for days, and every time she kicked,
it looked like it did.
It was
something.
Pretty brutal. It was as if you ran into a kangaroo.
There were like
ass kicked.
three MMA fighters too.
Yeah,
and those were really.
There were a lot of more kicks too.
And it's usually
a lot of the stuff looked more realistic with the fighting too, in my opinion. So, but yeah, kangaroo. I also got judo Brazil girl.
She lost her match, but
she lost her match. But I thought just her combination was just really interesting.
Yeah. Well, and one of the things that I think the things that was a small detail that added a lot of something was the announcement of the winner, where they had both women stand, and your winner, they raised her hand, and like, so a lot of times the women respected each other to the point where they hugged.
Yeah.
And they like the last match, Kairi Sane versus it wasn't
Tessa.
Yeah, Tessa Blanchard.
Yeah,
Tessa Blanchard, who's a big indie person who's been around for years. Like, she was crying for Kairi.
Yeah, well, because they kind of realized, and that was like in the Glow too, with the final episode, where it's just like they did something and it was an awesome performance and people enjoyed it, and then it's like,
oh, that was definitely the highlight for the entire first round.
It's like when someone finishes a show and everything, it's just like you did it and you're just like, oh, that was great, like what an awesome feeling.
Yeah. Even the losers, like they put on a good, like the losers, they were scripted to lose most of them. So they knew going into it that they weren't going to move on, and a lot of those people who lost got signed on for WWE, or they're already NXT.
And don't get me wrong, there were one or two like fake outs or things that didn't work out, but like most of the time I was fully entertained, and it's hard to get me to pay attention to some of these because, like I said, like I could be on my phone. And Alex like, "Oh, pay attention." I'm like, "I'm probably not."
You did that a couple times, but not as much as you usually do.
Yeah, no, this I was more engaged. Who else did I? Oh, Dakota Kai was really cute. She reminded me of Bailey.
Yeah, with the tie dye.
And you called her the Kiwi.
Well, because she's from New Zealand.
That's so cute. Piper. I really like Piper.
Yeah, Piper I've seen in other matches outside of.
She's Irish.
Scottish.
And she's also just like on the heftier side, but like,
I liked the other Scottish girl too, Kaylee.
Yeah, she put up a great fight, and then she's just got that like sumo sit down move.
Right.
Like
she's a heavier girl, but she like is a lot faster and more agile than you think she would be.
She's like so gorgeous.
Yeah.
Like I love like even like no matter what shape, when you show your stuff, and Piper showed her stuff, and I love it.
She's a BBW, a big, beautiful woman.
Yes, I love her. Jazzy, even though Jazzy lost, she was the mighty German.
Yeah. She was the MMA fighter who was like, oh, she lost.
She reminded me of who's the guy like in the wrestling, the big man, the big scary man, the one that keeps killing Roman Reigns.
Braun Strowman?
Yeah.
She's the female Braun
Jazzy
Strowman.
reminded me of her, and I was just like, that's like the only guy I really like, because it's like he knows what he is. You hear that? It's called a character. And I took from this that like the more I watch wrestling, the more I do get it. But it's like I think there was just a lot more love in this. There was a lot more direction. and just I thought the characters were a lot more interesting. I thought the girls seemed to have more fun. I just feel like sometimes when I see the wrestlers in WWE, it's just like it's a job, and it's like, oh, they shouldn't.
Well, they've been doing it for years, and it's
And
like,
it's
I
just
know my
like
character, shut up.
everyone's just all dark, except for like a few. There are characters that do stand out, but there's so many jerks on the show.
You don't like Chris Jericho's jerk? He plays a massive jerk, but it's so entertaining.
Everyone's a jerk.
But he's so entertaining.
But you say that for everybody.
You know what not liking Chris Jericho gets you? You get put on the list!
Oh, is that what?
Yeah.
I don't remember half these stupid gimmicks. It's all the same to me. Just like that guy that goes like...
Disrespecting Chris Jericho? You know where that gets you? You know what that does to you? You get on the list!
Well, I'm a douchebag, and you can't change that!
Corinne will talk more about it.
Yeah, I kind of want...
He's got bad
You've told me about
heat,
that.
so
I only remember a handful. I remember him.
Enzo Amore.
The big guy's my favorite. Roman Reigns, I feel sorry for just because I've heard the stories. Yes, he's been
getting better.
He's been shoved in your faces. I'm sorry, but you shouldn't take it out on him. You should take it out on the company. That's like if you don't like something at a restaurant, you shouldn't take it out of the waiter. You should take it out of the restaurant.
Or the chef.
That's my opinion. Like, oh, you shouldn't feel bad about a guy that's getting a paycheck. My brother is like that too. But it's like, people have feelings too. Just because they have a good job doesn't mean.
He had the best promo of the year, and he said 4 fucking words.
Oh, did he?
That was, well, it was right after, because you saw the match where he retired The Undertaker.
Oh, yeah.
Which I've heard.
I thought that was a fine... I mean, granted, I understood, like, it's like, yeah, they had many other people they could have used.
There's rumors that The Undertaker's coming back for one more round.
Oh, that poor guy.
Yeah, but anyway, the retirement match, or it could turn into the retirement match, or the first retirement match. Anyway, that match, after that match, the next Raw, he came out to like 20 minutes of people just booing him.
Yeah.
Boo! Boo! And just a lot of like chants that were really nasty and get the fuck out, that kind of stuff. Yeah. And then after it settled down, after like 20 minutes, he just went, "This is my yard now." Boom. Mic drop.
I mean, I thought it was fine. But like, again, my brothers were into this stuff. But they also used to wrestle with me, and I've been scarred.
She's emotionally scarred through...
So, and my knowledge is only with the 90s people, which, like, this is kind of, like, what it reminded me of, too. Like, it's just fun. People are either just kind of, like, passionate with justice, or just kind of like, let's have fun and beat the shit out of each other.
Yeah,
it's like...
The problem is that the part you were raised on and I started on, because my parents were not into wrestling. They probably, like, it was a dirty little secret that I watched it whenever I could. But that era is very much like, there were a lot of douchebags too. Basically they were guys who were fighting against authority.
I mean, it's not like you need a story for fighting. It's just like, who wants to be on the top gets to be on the top. Fine. If that's the story, fine. But I just don't think anybody's that engaging or that interesting enough for me to care who's on the top.
Okay.
It doesn't seem like anybody's having fun on the show. They're just doing... they're just doing what they're told they're supposed to be doing.
It's because so few of them can actually confirm that they're making a connection with the audience, I think. Because the audience is smart about it now. So the only people that you can be sure that they connected with are the people who turn in like new chants. Like Ty Dillinger, the guy, I think you've only seen him a couple times, but his entire gimmick is that he's a 10 out of 10.
Oh, yeah.
And they do the
10!
10!
That's another thing I noticed. If anybody's remotely interesting or good, they seem to shelve those people or hide them because...
Ty Dillinger is getting on the next video game, so I think he's getting a big
push.
He's
getting on the next video game. Okay,
so
my mistake.
No, I think he's getting a big push. I think he's being brought up from NXT.
My argument is they should be putting these people that actually have charm out there more.
And I think Bobby Roode got taken up to the main roster. He's the guy with the Queen intro. Glorious.
Oh, yeah.
I won't give in. He's got the best intro song
he
ever.
Does, yeah. And I mean, they completely ruined Bayley.
Yeah, they buried the shit out of Bayley.
That's nice. I mean,
she's injured. They might retool her.
It's nice, when you have some hope and inspiration. It's nice to destroy that. Very good. very good message to
I
tell
want
kids.
them to fix Bailey, but I have no faith in them being able to.
That's what I'm learning from wrestling. It's awesome to be a douchebag and just to take what you want.
I want to see what Bailey's able to do. The problem is that Bailey doesn't really know what she's doing on the mic yet.
But I can't tell if it's like, are they being trapped and not letting them experiment,
or it's having her stick to a script that she's not comfortable with?
Or is it that they're just not like, they're not acting or don't have enough acting to really branch out and stuff? Because it's like you said, some of the people like Roman Reigns have trouble speaking or saying things.
Right.
It's like, is that their fault? Is that the lack of training, or is that just the company going like, no, you're only allowed to say 4 things per match?
It's something that wrestling has, like the wrestling fandom has actually addressed a little bit, in that if you look at the scripts from like 10, 20, the time that you were into it, it was very they allowed for people to just kind of do their own thing in promos. It was like, basically, you're angry about this, you're going to talk about this, just hit these points, and they were able to ad-lib like their character.
Right.
And now, I don't know who in creative decided it was better, but they are very strictly scripted now. And so you learn your lines and you say them in front of camera. And some of these people aren't that kind of actor.
Right.
Some of them are very much like, I am this character, I can get into that. Like, they didn't do theater. They're not learning like Shakespeare.
I understand. I'm not asking for like a Broadway performance.
No. I'm saying you're on the right track. Is that if they were allowed the freedom to do their own thing, they probably would be
That's why I think the Mae Young thing was good, because even though they were told who was gonna win and lose, they seemed to just be able to do what they wanted to do.
Because when you're a wrestler, your strength, the big strength that you have to work on is being able to go through the script of a match. I have friends who we talk about the matches and we're like, we figured out what was wrong and what we would actually do with that story, and just off the top of our heads, we figured out a better story.
So I hope you enjoyed our ramblings. Hopefully we didn't hurt anybody's feelings, or again, I'm stating this as much as possible. Like, you can enjoy it. It's like, people enjoy like Bleach. The plot makes no sense and there's too many characters to remember, but the fight scenes are amazing, and that's probably the same thing as in wrestling. Like you can enjoy whatever you want. For someone that's getting into it, I'm trying to understand why somebody can enjoy something when there could be so much more done for it, especially in this day and age.
It's one of those things. Everybody has that thing that they love, even though they see much better potential in it.
Right. Like, I mean, I could say that about Pokemon. I love Pokemon. I know
it's garbage sometimes.
I know there's potential for it, and I'm willing to root for it, but there is some heart in it, and sometimes I feel like there could be a little more heart in WWE, especially after seeing the Mae Young thing.
And I mean, there was
so much heart in that.
Yeah. Well, it's similar to people who are still Sonic fans. Like Sonic, the newest Sonic is like, oh, we're back to the good stuff finally.
Yeah.
It's like you stuck through a bunch of shit to get here.
Yeah. So, but it was fun.
Yeah.
I'm gonna still keep giving it a shot, but we'll see.
Yeah.
So I hope you enjoy that. If you guys like this, let us know. If you want us to talk about anything else, like movies or
we're going to talk about the movies we've seen this year.
Yeah. Or anything else, just let us know. I'm going to start watching more anime too, and hopefully do some anime content on this channel.
What about the wrestling content that you're going to miss out on?
Oh boy, I can't miss that.
You're at least going to watch the rest of the Mae Young
Classic. Of course, yeah. No spoilers. I need to.
Yeah, I know that results are up until the actual last fight, and I've tried to avoid it. I'm like, I've even seen the brackets slightly filled out, and I'm like, trying to erase it from my mind so I get surprised.
But
I do know one of our favorites is in the
I'll see if I can edit some of this down. Hopefully you guys enjoy it, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
I am a missile. I am a fire. Love is destruction, but this war is mine. This war is mine.